Hey guys, my name is Agenda.001, and today I want to show you how to make ethereal pads using Harmor. So let's get into it. Alright, so this is roughly how the pad is going to sound like. Yeah, it sounds very ethereal, and it has a lot of harmonics. Now, first of all, if you don't own Harmor or anything similar to that, don't worry. I think you can still learn a little bit of sound design techniques here and there just by looking at whatever I'm doing. We're going to open up Harmor, and we're going to select the default. And what I do usually is, first of all, I use a saw that has 100% spectral random. And then I turn on Unison to get a very washy sound. I could even turn it up a little bit. Just a little bit more detuning here. Now, the main ingredient of this sound is this section right here of this convoluted layout. So this is the resonance, or the resonance peak of, well, the filter. However, it has a special mode called noise. So when I turn this on, as you can see, the spectrum is going to become a very glitchy and bleep-loopy mess. And you can play around with the settings a little bit. Like, for example, width makes these makes the bleeps a little bit shorter and kind of generates more. You can also go for longer ones. That's really all up to you. I prefer not touching the width at all and just messing around with the resonance. But yeah, last step, this is a very basic patch, is to turn on some blur decay. So yeah, what will happen is the frequencies will get frozen in place, I guess, and it will create like a very spacious delay. But it is not reverb. We're gonna come to that now, actually. But yeah, that's gonna be the basic patch in Harmor. That's how I usually do it. I mean, you could play around with a few more settings. So for example, you can add a phaser. Or you can add a bit of harmonizer if you really want to like play low chords and still have like a lot of high end. You can use a harmonizer for that. All right, let's get to reverb. Now, that kind of depends on what reverb you want to use or what the reverbs you have. What we're also going to use is we're going to use a free delay / reverb plugin called Valhalla Supermassive. This thing is actually very, very nice because, well, for one, it's a delay, but the warp mode turns that delay into a reverb. So if you don't have stuff like, I don't know, Reverb, or in my case, Raum, which is also very nice, very CPU heavy, but very nice reverb effects, you can use Valhalla Supermassive as like a sort of, as like a low budget, or basically no budget reverb. Actually, I have to turn the mix all the way up. There are also a few different modes that you can try out. For example, okay, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Hold on. For example, Great Annihilator is a very nice one. Or if I want a shorter one, I don't know, let's say Lyra. You can pretty much play around with Valhalla Supermassive. Like, seriously, get this if you want to have a very nice, a very lush reverb plugin, but also something that could add a little bit like a very glossy texture if you want to use the delay effect. It's just a very nice plugin. But What I figured kind of worked the best for what I prefer on my Reso Pads is, first of all, we're going to add Crystallizer by Soundtoys. Again, it's a grandulizer slash delay plugin. What it actually does is it has this function that it can reverse whatever's coming through the effects right now. So they come like back at you, but it can also pitch them up. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add a pattern, and I don't know, let's say I'm going to add a chord. Let's say C minor ninth. I really like C minor ninth. Alright. Extend those for a moment. Actually, I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit here, because, you know, it can be a little bit tedious sometimes. Ah! I mean, already this alone sounds pretty good. You can mess around with a few parameters like smoothing, a little bit of the attack and release of the samples. That's very nice. Next up, I'm going to add Valhalla Supermassive for a delay effect. Yep, sounds very nice. You can try, again, you can try different modes. But I figured that, yeah, the thing is, I figured that a lot of like the lower ones here have like a really long decay. So I'm just sticking to G mini. It just works for me. And then last but not least, I'm gonna add Raum. Raum is a really nice, it's a really nice reverb. Whew! You're just in space, basically. Now, to your liking, you can adjust the mix however you want. I prefer it at 100. So it's like very lush, very spacious. Now, a few things like you can like additionally do, because at this point the pad is basically established. You can like play any chord you want. I'm not particularly good at piano, I guess. I'm using my keyboard for the piano, but as you can see, it is very, very nice. Now, what you can do, in some cases you want that, is you can add compression at the beginning. I don't know, to flatten out the spectrum a little bit. And of course, you never want to forget to EQ your pads afterwards. Yeah. And now, what you can do is you can freeze the pad now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an Edison. We're going to put it on play so that it will start recording when we play. We press this and we just start playing. And now you have your pad sample right here. Very, very nice. I think it's always better to freeze a Reso pad, because the thing is, the noise module right here is basically random. So every time you play this without it being frozen, of course, you're gonna get different results, which can be a nice thing of when you want to make like a sample pack and you want to have, and you always want to have like a different result. It's nice, but when you want to make a track and you want to have that in, it's better to freeze it. Otherwise, you can have a little bit of unexpected results. So yeah, we can just take the Edison, just grab it over there. Now the cool thing about this entire thing, since we are in the trend of color bass, is we can take any kind of bass. I don't know, let's say, which one's a nice one? Let's say we'll take that bass for a moment, and we can essentially make color bass with this pad. Gonna go over here. It should be now on in tune. Yep. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Alright, and here's how I usually do my color bass approach. What I do is I route this, the growl over here. I route the pad over here. I route these into another one, another mixer channel, and then I use a vocoder. I like using a vocoder instead of like a convolver because I think I have a little bit more control over, well, the color impulse, basically, and it's not like I'm gonna have a huge long decay at the end that I can't really like control other than, you know, volume automation. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set the modulator to be the growl, and we're gonna set the carrier to be the pad. And yeah, I'm gonna set it to full wet. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna set it to full wet, and you can basically play around with the settings of, well, the vocoder. That's a bit harsh right now. You can kind of smear the texture a little bit with the hold time. Also, what I like doing is that since I don't want my growl to sound like just a chord, basically, what I do is I route this a second time into a different into a separate mixer, and then I basically let it play like this. So I basically have the dry signal and then the wet one using the vocoder. What else can we add? Let's say a little bit of dispersion, for example. I don't know. And of course, EQing. Also, it's a little bit too loud, so I'm just going to turn it down. Alright, and that's how I would make color bass. The cool thing about this is, let's say, for example, you don't like how the pad sounds in this specific bit. What you can do is, yeah, you can just change up the pad a little bit. And it's instantaneous, other than, well, when you want to use a convolver, you kind of have to, like, import the sample back into the convolver, and that's a little bit tedious. But here, it's instantaneous. Very nice. Alright, that's basically it for the Reso Pad. I hope you guys could learn something out of that, and yeah, hopefully I'm gonna leave a big link down below in the description, so you can just click on that link, and then you can follow me on all the socials that you want. Alright, that has been it for this tutorial. And yeah, I can't wait to see what people are gonna be doing with those pads. Alright, I'll see you guys later, and yeah, have a nice day. Bye.